at the Caesars Sportsbook of 9 wins. That's minus 125 to the over, minus 105 to the under. They've got a road schedule that includes, as we have mentioned, starting in Columbus against Ohio State. They also, in late September, will be going to North Carolina. Road trips also to Syracuse, to Navy, and then at USC at the end of the season in the Coliseum. Home schedule, we've got Marshall coming to South Bend, Cal, Stanford, UNLV, a huge game against Clemson. Boston College also late in the year will be coming to South Bend. The neutral site game is going to be against BYU. That is the Shamrock Series game that will be in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And obviously, we've got Tyler Buckner as our QB1. That is answered. We've got no Avery Davis. We've got one of the best tight ends in the country. We've got a defense led by Isaiah Foskey that should be very good, especially under the guidance of Marcus Freeman. We've got Notre Dame, a team that has in both of these rankings that we've just talked about, the AP and the coaches poll preseason, number 5 in the country. What are we doing with the win total of 9?
The injury to Avery Davis clearly affected this just before we got to this show, but I think push is probably the right answer. And I think, you look at their schedule, they play 3 road games, like true road games. The first game of the season and the last game of the season. In the 10 games or 4 road games, I'm sorry. In between, they only have 2 true road tests, at North Carolina on September 24th and at Syracuse on October 29th. Everything else is either at home or at a neutral site, which I think you have to give Notre Dame an advantage for. Like, getting Clemson at home is big, better than being at Clemson, but I still think 9-3 is far more likely. And if I'm forced to take a side, I'm leaning under before I lean over.
Under, yeah. I think that going 10-2 against this schedule means
it's
that
hard.
Yeah, yes. It means a lot has gone right. It means we have not had any hiccups. It means we have not had any setbacks. It means that you've maintained good health at the quarterback position. It means that you've maintained good health elsewhere. It means that an offense that has not an offense that has been effective but not overwhelming. Is that fair? It's effective but not overwhelming, has found a level of explosiveness or a way to really stress opponents, because relying on a very good defense, relying on an offense that is going to be, again, effective but maybe not explosive is going to be good enough for you to be able to beat most of the opponents on your schedule. But to go 10-2 when, like you mentioned, we got Ohio State, North Carolina, USC, and BYU, 4 games all away from home that are going to be very difficult. Clemson coming to town, a game that is going to be extremely difficult. Right now, are the Tigers favored in that game? We got all season to be able to have the power ratings adjust to, whether Clemson's gotten its offense going and what Notre Dame looks like. But I wonder if the Tigers are a short favorite in that game as it stands right now.
I don't do any the look ahead line type stuff, but I would say that, yeah, probably if you're looking at things as they stand, Clemson's a 1 or 2 point favorite on the road against Notre Dame. But you're losing game 1 because there's just I'm not saying it's impossible, but a Notre Dame team with a first year head coach, a first year starting quarterback, depth concerns at receiver, is not going into Columbus and beating an Ohio State team with as many guys as they have coming back on offense. You know what I mean? Even if Ohio State's defense is still kind of shaky, you're just not going to be able to score with them. At North Carolina is going to be tough. BYU in Vegas, that's going to be tough. Clemson at home is going to be tough. USC at the end of the year might be a lot better than the USC we see early in the year. So it's an under.